Greetings, family. Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Kia Pruitt. It is Friday. Happy Friday. Friday, June the 28th, 2024. And the time, uh-oh, the time is, it looks like I'm hearing an echo.
I'm taking your phone.
She just, I think there was a phone plugged in.
Oh, so the time is 9:17 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I see we have 375 people in the chat right now. Like the video, please subscribe to this channel. Make sure you share the video because we're here to tell a very important story. You all know that this is the Dr. Kia Pruitt show, and we do everything we can to tell the truth. So who we have here is a very important guest. This is John Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr. He was given the name of David Quigley. John is a very important person in history. He is the son of John Fitzgerald Kennedy Sr., the president. I want to read or quote something that John Fitzgerald Kennedy Sr. said a while ago. He said, "There is a plot to enslave every man, woman, and child. And before I leave this high noble office, I will expose it to the American people." Because of his resolve to expose the criminal mafia that had enslaved the planet and taken over our government, they assassinated him. Well, his son, I'm going to let him tell his own story, is here to share what he's had to go through because of him being a part of the bloodline and the son of President John Fitzgerald Kennedy Sr. Now, you know that many people from different communities mourn the death of this great president, right? But there's a reason they took him out. They knew how much people loved him because he cared about we the people. So a lot of you are here. Keep checking in, family. I know a lot of you have been waiting. I don't want to spend too much of your time, but I'm going to introduce to some and present to others the most amazing, the newest friend that I have right now, the most courageous person I know on this planet, John Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr. Please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your story, John.
Thank you. Thank you,
You're
Kia.
welcome.
I really appreciate it. I am the real one and only John Kennedy Jr. And with all my heart, thank you for putting me on tonight. It's so much appreciated. My life is everything to get the truth out to the people. No sugarcoating it. No sugarcoating it. It's all about getting the truth out and waking up America. I thought I was dying about 8 years ago. And I realized, I was told by government agents, organized crime was too big in government. I could never share my story. I would be killed. That was their, I went with their plan year after year, homeless, kicking a can down the road saying, "I'm John Kennedy Jr. and I got duct tape on my shoe." Not sharing my story, thinking I would be killed. Well, 8 years ago, I came out and I said, it's worth my life to let America, let the people around the world know my truthful story. Yeah. And I've been doing it. I've been blocked, hindered, and shadow banned, taken off. It's huge. They don't want this truth out. They're still doing it to this very day. And being able to share my story on a platform like yours is my everything. And I appreciate you.
You're welcome. As I understand it, I read your book. Let me see if I can find it, which is very important for people to go out and get your book and read it because it gives us a framework and a little bit of understanding about who you are and what you went through. When you were 3 years old, you still have recollections of your parents. And you talk about in your book. Yeah.
I was 3 when my father was assassinated. And, it's really mind-boggling trying to remember because when I was real young, my mom always called my father Jack. It's like, how do you get Jack and John? So my father was always Jack to me. And then, when you hear he was President John Kennedy, they didn't click. But seeing all there's thousands of photos. It was one big photo of me as a child. and to let the audience know all the photos are of me. Please play around. Do, comparisons of me as a child. Use the computer apps they have now, the aging process. Play around. Once you know what I'm sharing, that all the photos are of me up until the age of around 10 when they replaced me with my stepbrother, George Onassis. The whole world knew George Onassis, but for the first 10 years of my life, they knew me, but the world didn't catch it. Our organized crime members, it's their big moneymaker, this kidnapping, replacement, identity theft to steal money. They make billions and billions and billions of dollars doing it. I'm exposing how they work, and I'm trying to open up the eyes of these people that do a little research, a little homework.
So as I understand it, John, you remember your dad from when you were 3, but when you were about 9 or 10, your dad was assassinated. Were you 9 or 10 when he was assassinated?
No, I was 3 when he was assassinated.
You were 3 when he was assassinated, and shortly thereafter, or sometime afterwards, your mom married Aristotle Onassis, the Greek oil billionaire and shipping magnate. Of course, for love and also protection. He protected you and she. But at the same time, he had a mistress by the name of Maria Callas. Mm-hmm. And they had a child who was George. And George later on replaced you. And his name as the body double was John. Is that correct so far?
Yeah. With that said, these billionaires don't tell you everything. I've had people research Aristotle and say he never had another son, and these people are billionaires.
Okay.
They don't advertise kidnapping. If you remember the Hearst kidnap and all this other stuff, billionaires don't tell you what they're doing. What's in the media is a lot of BS. They don't advertise, but my father and the mafia, the Secret Service, the shadow government, whatever you want to call it, is in control of everything. They set everything up. There was more than one Aristotle Onassis. They used body doubles. It gets really confusing, but they use other people. My sister was replaced.
Okay.
My mother is a huge example. I was right there while they were doing it, while they were replacing my mother with a lookalike. And at times I couldn't tell the difference between my mother and her replacement. They gave the fake Jackie Kennedy, the one the whole world knew after 1975, plastic surgery. I remember them giving her dental work. They have the money, the power, the resources to do all this. But then in 1975, they killed my mother and they replaced her with her body double. As a child, remembering all that, you're not told. You have to learn the hard way after you see your mother there laying in a puddle of blood, being thrown in a station wagon at gunpoint. But it's so huge, but people don't notice. There was all kinds of little details that people could pick up on. But I'm a huge example of what's been going on. I hope people share it. I hope they take the time out to look at the children, the child photos. It's a huge game to these people with money, kidnapping and extortion for money. I think every time I share this story, I think of that little girl that was with me that day when my mother was shot. She was younger than me. I was 15 years old at the time, but she was younger. She was a younger girl. I just met her, but she was also thrown in that station wagon at gunpoint, and we were both told to get on the floorboard and not lift our heads up. I never saw her again. Now, these members of our government that did that shot my mom, that took us away at gunpoint. Luckily, I was rescued. I think I had a chip, probably one of the first chips, a tracking device put in me. But whatever happened to that little girl, I don't know. She was not drug out of there when I was drug out of there. And these people are not nice. But I'm sharing my story. A lot of it is in the book.
John, let me ask you this. I'm kind of want to do a timeline. So your dad was assassinated at 3. Then where did you go after that? Did your mom immediately marry Onassis, Aristotle Onassis after that?
No. It wasn't until I'm guessing 9, 10 years old they got together.
Okay.
I spent, after my father was killed, I spent many weeks and times. I traveled. They hid me out. I was with a Hollywood actor for 2 weeks. I was with an artist for 2 weeks. My mom was paying a lot of money to have me schooled. I had a Hollywood career. I was in many things, from Green Acres to Mayberry RFD to Adam 12, Emergency. The Hollywood name they gave me was Richard Steele.
Okay.
I'm on the show, One Adam 12. I have my head in the bars. I'm looking like I'm 8 years old at the time. I could look it up and give you the exact date of when that was shot. But I'm a little kid, and I got my head in the bars. They did it for a reason. I'm wearing a red and white shirt, which is a signal. They give so many signals. Red and white was for the Hells Angels that were giving me protection. They greased up my ears while I was in this bar. My lines, I don't remember the exact lines for the show One Adam 12, but it was like my mom was going to be really pissed I got grease all over my head or something like that. But that career was stolen. When I'm on at One Adam 12, if you look up Richard Steele, they leave so many traces of their crimes. You can clearly tell I'm 8 or 9 years old with my head in the bars, maybe younger than that. Richard Steele at that time would have been like 15 years old. So if people do a little research, compare the dates, the times, it puts all the puzzles. But these criminals don't advertise. They don't tell you they work for a secret satanic cult and they kill people and all this other stuff. And a lot of people, they hear my story and say, well, I didn't hear about that in the news, or I didn't hear, they don't advertise. I was just thinking.
I'm sorry. Who allowed you to have the Hollywood career? Was that just like?
Jackie wanted to build me up. He also wanted to build my sister. She wanted to build my sister Caroline up.
Okay.
There was another murder. I haven't talked too much about it. I'm pretty sure it was a murder on the show The Brady Bunch. If you remember the middle girl, they replaced her in the middle of the series. Not too many people caught it. Jan was her name on the show. Okay. A lot of things they put right on television, right in front of your face. People don't catch it because they don't really know the whole story. But my sister confuses the heck out of me because they replaced my sister so many times. It's crazy at the top with the organized crime wars and them taking people out, replacing people. That's why I believe my father and my uncle were killed in broad daylight. My father, I believe, was killed in broad daylight, so they could not bring him back with a body double. Once he was dead on TV, he was dead. They could not fill his shoes anymore. I always believed that. MK Ultra is a huge tool in government. They can program people with their mind control, and they don't even have to be on the scene of a crime. It's huge. That's another subject too. But I get talking. I'm sorry, Kia. I get talking. There's so many things going through my head, and
I'm following you. So your mom paid the Hells Angels to protect you when her husband was assassinated, but because you were born into an elite family, you went into Hollywood. Is that how it works? You were.
My mom, Jackie, wanted me to be the best, the most educated. I met many great people. I was taught by Pablo Picasso. I was just a child, but my career that I never got credit for. I was taught. I went to Israel with Marc Chagall when Marc Chagall and did the stained glass in Israel. Marc Chagall and Pablo Picasso's paintings sell for millions and millions and millions of dollars. If I wanted to have a career in art, I would be recognized just for being taught by them. There's many other artists that she paid, to have me taught for a week, 3 days, whatever they could do, 2 weeks. But I was taught a little bit by many people. I met Muhammad Ali, many great musicians. A lot of these people I met on Aristotle Onassis's ship. I was hid out on Aristotle Onassis's ship. In the daytime, I was not allowed to put my head over the deck. They were afraid I would be assassinated. I lived in a little cabin on that ship. This was in my very early teens. Even the Quigley family that I was placed with on and off when I was a child brought me to that ship. Me and Dorothy Quigley went out and bought some deck shoes, just because they knew I would be on that ship. But I was moved around so much, different countries. I was always flying here and there, being schooled and taught, but a lot of it was to hide me out. Okay. I think when they switched, Jackie and everybody thought it was for my protection. I learned the hard way it was just to steal. Body doubles, what they do now is they kill you and replace you with the body double. And they launder all your money to the mafia. But if you don't know my story, you can fall victim to it very fast. I'm talking the very rich. Like I said a little bit ago, my mom was replaced right in front of me. When I was on Aristotle Onassis' island, I had 3 girls come up to me. We had a lagoon. I loved going swimming in that lagoon. I would dive down in the ocean. I would pull up pottery from thousands of years, and I would find a nice piece. I would bring it to my mother and share it. But there was many crazy things that happened on that island while I was there. One day, 3 girls came up to me, and they said, "I'm your sister, Caroline." All in a row. One said, "I'm your sister, Caroline." Then the next one said, "I'm your sister, Caroline." And I was like, none of you are my sister, Caroline. What that was all about, I really don't know. One of them, I believe, was the Martha Moxley murder. I'm putting that right out there on this show. It needs to be recognized. If you look at pictures of Caroline Kennedy as a child with my mother, with me, look at those pictures of Caroline, compare them to the Martha Moxley murder that was covered up. And that's when my sister Caroline was murdered and replaced. Government agents have the power to switch little children around, say, "You're the new Caroline," and the crazy things they had me do. I went crazy when they told me I had to go stab my sister with a golf club. I did. In my mind, I went crazy. I reached over and actually scratched the federal agent that had a gun on my mother in the face. I didn't care if I went crazy. I didn't care if my mom was killed. I didn't care if I was killed. But I reached over and scratched him in the face. I wish I could bring back photos of all the federal agents and find out which one had a scratch on his face that day. But he's probably dead anyway, with all the time that's gone by.
I think what's a little confusing for a lot of the readers of the book and people that hear the story is why did they traumatize you? You talk about in the book how, and you're telling us now, like how they made you do some heinous things and try to like hold you at gunpoint and kill people in your family or people you love and replace them. What's the motive? Like, you're John F. Kennedy Jr. I'm confused.
Anytime in my life I've ever sat and pondered something, why it happened, it's usually for money.
Okay.
The Kennedy fortunes, what was in the Kennedy family's portfolio, they don't advertise what they really own. A lot of it is in other people's names. It's huge. Why they replaced me with my stepbrother, because they wanted to launder the Kennedy fortunes, which they did.
The government.
They had a fake me. And I don't know why I survived. I think the good federal agents were telling the organized crime members I was dead. I was actually with the Quigley family at this time, but I think they told their bosses that, yeah, little John is dead now. I don't have all the answers. I really don't. But they replaced me. They replaced my sister Caroline. They replaced my mother. You had those three people. My mother married a Greek billionaire with a B. Those three fake individuals laundered all the Kennedy fortunes and then all the Onassis fortunes also. We're talking billions of dollars for 3 murders. And well, they didn't kill me, so that was 2 murders and 3 replacements of me. Billions. One good example. I really don't like talking about Donald Trump, but I was replaced with John, the whole world knew, my stepbrother. When Jackie, the fake Jackie, was killed, I mean, this can get confused, you know. Anyway, Donald Trump, Trump Tower, Sotheby's auction house, them individuals, my sister Caroline, the fake John, Donald Trump, sold my loved ones' possessions at Trump Tower for millions and millions and millions of dollars, and it wasn't theirs. That's just a little fraction of what they did and how they did it. But it was actually billions of dollars that those 3 replacements. And if you talk about Donald Trump's replacement, the billions of dollars that Donald Trump had, we're talking trillions now. So if organized crime can murder and replace a handful of people and make trillions of dollars doing it, it's better than bank robbery.
Yeah, you mentioned in your book, and a lot of people may not be prepared to hear this, but I just want to share, you know, the truth and what you experienced, that the President Donald Trump you knew actually died in a plane crash in 1989.
Yeah, I call them planes, helicopters. It was actually a helicopter crash. Okay. Organized crime had me there. So I know it was pre-planned helicopter crash. They brought me to the crash site. So I know I was brought there because it was a pre-planned murder. I forgot where I was going after all that.
I'm sorry.
I really did. But
I just wanted.
I get on these shows and there's so many things I want to say all at once. And
John, you mentioned in the book, and tell me if this is too much to talk about, that while I guess you were in witness protection, that you went through ritualistic abuse, different type of abuses, a physical, you know, some, you know, sexual assault, emotionally, mental. Were they doing this to punish you? Were they doing this because this is a part of what these people at high levels do? Like, what's
well, here's what it boils down to in my head. There's 13 families, the richest families in the world, that run government. That's our shadow government. That's the billionaires. So it's, you know, I always said I was the 13. I was a member of the 13. I was told, shut up, you don't talk about that. But being young John Kennedy, I was being passed around through all these family members, being taught. Like I said, I was taught by John Wayne. I think John Wayne even killed a man for beating me up one day. John Wayne, in my heart, you know, awesome man. But I was passed around, and that wasn't just with celebrities. That was with the underworld also. And with that said, Masonic cults and other things did rituals on me. Laying on a table, they would get a knife and try to stab me. That's a Masonic ritual. But I was passed around with these people. I don't know if it was so I would not fear death. There could be many reasons. One of those reasons also is I was John Kennedy Jr. I was born in the White House. I was at the top of the ladder. If there was a crime committed while in my presence, they would not be convicted. It wouldn't even come up in a federal court because I was there. So I think I was being used for that part of it, just being on the scene of a murder. that was made to be an accident. If there was ever a federal investigation, it would come up. Hey, he was there. We'll cover it up. End of story. I don't have all the answers, but I call him Wayne, but being under MK Ultra, there could have been many Waynes. I was taught by the FBI. I was taught by the Secret Service. I was taught by our CIA, even at a young age. Then I was brought into Black Ops in the military. I went through training. Wayne wanted me to be and have a little taste of all aspects of our military. So Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, all of it, even if it was for 2 weeks or a day. He wanted me to just have a taste of it. The Black Ops, I went on missions where they didn't want a soldier's identity. If we were captured, if we were killed in a foreign country that we weren't supposed to be in, they didn't, when we'd get on board a helicopter or an airplane, we would have to throw our possessions in a box. If we had any signature ring or anything, it had to go in a box. With that said, to the vets out there, I'm so proud that we were put on one mission to try to save some POWs. I do believe it was in Cambodia. I was just a child. I seen death in front of me. Like I said, I was young. I was in tears. But we tried. That's one positive for the shadow government. We tried. I don't know if it was success. I was injured. I watched people die, even in my arms, I believe. But I was a prisoner of war for a day at that time. Many, many stories.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm sorry, I'm going off again.
No, I'm following you. So the 13 families that run the world, the Kennedys are a part of the family, but there's a government behind, a shadow government behind them. Is that what you're saying?
Right. I believe after all that I've known now, my father was placed. My father was built up. All the photo ops of my father, he was built up to be president. Okay. All the family photos, there's thousands of them. It's one big photo op. Not that my father wasn't a great man and the Kennedys weren't great people, but they used it, the family lifestyle. Let's make America like the Kennedy family. Just a big photo op. Okay. But it was all, I had, when I was 3, I remember running up to my father on a golf course. It was the greenest grass I'd ever seen in my life. My father gave me a big hug, but I was brought there by somebody from our government. Okay.
It makes sense. I've heard Hollywood actors come out and say how they've been through MK Ultra programmings in the Disney and talked about how they've gone through ritualistic abuse, and people wouldn't believe their stories, but everything you're saying is adding up because it lines up what these Hollywood actors have said.
Yeah. There was, when I was young, Jackie Collins, she's a famous author.
Okay.
Not the Jackie Goldman that helped me, bless her heart, for helping me write this book, but Jackie Collins, a famous author. She wrote Hollywood Kids. She was exposing this Hollywood ring and what they do. And she told me when I was young, if you ever going to write a book, come to me and I'll help you. When I came out, I think it was 8 years ago, I looked her up and she had already passed away. So many people, and I don't know if there was foul play, there's always something going on in my life, but just her saying she would write a book about me put her life in jeopardy.
God. I don't know if I'm sorry.
I wish there was a way. There's so many people that aren't in the same position as me, but there's so many people, victims. Whitney Houston's daughter, Michael Jackson's daughter, just all these people that have the similarities of my story. If we could get together, if we could start an organization and get the truth out, that would be awesome, because I've been on TikTok and I get so many emails, people asking me, help me. It's like, I can't help nobody. I'm trying to get my story out. I don't have the resources. I don't have the experience. My dream would be to have an office with a secretary just to help me get the truth out. But maybe that's coming. I would love that. You got the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, and they're making millions and millions of dollars in donations to keep putting these people that are selected, not elected, in power. And somebody trying to share my story hindered and blocked and shadow banned and kicked in the ass every time I turn around. But we're going to do it. It's people like you. It's people like Sue Greenwald. The missing link. It's these. We're all going to get this out.
Yeah.
I appreciate you so much. I had a tragedy in my life 2 days ago, and I was debating if I wanted to come out on your show or cancel. And I was like, my story is more than life itself to me. I must, at any cost, take advantage of anything I can that will help share my story. I mean, I'm sure we could have put it off a few days or something, but I had to do this. I really did tonight.
Do you want to share what the tragedy was, John, or do you want to just keep it?
My son was mentally ill. I was taking care of him for the last 8 years. And the last 6 months, me and him have been on and off. I believe he is a victim of abuse. And every other thing, but he had severe mental illness. But he was pushing me away the past 6 months. I've kept an eye on him, gone over there. But I kept an eye on him on Facebook. Yeah. I didn't hear a post from him for 2 days. So I went down and I pounded on his door, and I've smelled death. I was in the Black Ops Special Forces. I know what it smells like, and I was in shock. I got in the car. I said, I told Robin, I don't want to go in there. Mm-hmm. I said, I was in shock. She said, we got to do something. She called the police to come meet me out there. I opened the door. He was sitting on the couch, and I lost my son.
I'm sorry.
He needs his legacy as being my son needs to go down in history.
That's
the
right.
abuse that he went through. I do believe he's a victim of our government's. And it's in my book. I could not have children. They made it so I could not have children. But I was raised to love children and protect children, treat them like your own. In 1988, when he was born, I had several attempts on my life. Many attempts. It got crazy. I had a bullet graze my cheek standing in front of the yard. This was right when he was born. Mm-hmm. I went to the FBI. It's in a lot of it is in my book. I was begging for help. He had been switched as a child. All kinds of crazy things were going on. The Quigley family took away custody of him at that time. I wanted to disappear. He was with the Quigleys. Even I showed up on Christmas Day one time to see him, and they're like, "What are you doing here? You're not welcome here." But anyway, being my life was in jeopardy, I moved around a lot, driving truck, other jobs, odd jobs. I've had hundreds of different jobs. Just so a lot of my life, I wasn't with him. I kept in contact, here and there, but I didn't get to spend a lot of time with him. I went back, and his mind was. He was at the Quigley. He was staring in front of the computer. He was in and out of jail for mental illness. 8 years ago, about 9 years ago, something like that. I said, "You want to get away from here?" And he's like, "Yes." He had just got his disability. We came to Bullhead City. We bought him a house here. I've been taking care of him. Sometimes he's wonderful, and other times. But a lot of that, I believe, was MK Ultra, torture, abuse. Sometimes he would say, Dad, I need to talk to you. This is important. Somebody was in the house and they were pretending to be you, and all this other stuff. And that's MK Ultra to me, you know, how they pretend to be other people and program your mind. But whether it is or not, I don't know. I wasn't there. I couldn't help him with his mental. We took him to Mojave Mental Health to get him help. You know, all this stuff. But he was screaming for help, and I could not give him that help. I didn't know what to do except tell him, take your medicine, do what you have to do. I tried to teach him the little things, you know, to keep busy. But he was programmed. He would not do anything. He relied me on waiting on him hand and foot. He thought he was dying all the time. He wouldn't do any yard work. You know, I had to remind him to take out the trash, that kind of thing. But I believe it was all programmed. It's real. I don't know if he was or not, but that's my opinion. And I want to share this. Of what he went through with your audience at school. I mentioned it to you earlier. After the coroners left on Wednesday, I went into his house. A parent should never have to experience what I experienced on Wednesday. It was horrible. A neighbor came over and helped me, bless his soul. But anyway, this was on the table in front of him, and I want everybody to see he was screaming for help. To FBI. And with that said, FBI agents, if you made an oath to do everything you can for this country to the best of your ability, you're not doing your job, because you are helping them hinder my story. But this is what he wrote. It's really hard to read. He writes like I did. I am a victim of MK Ultra. And if you see that writing, my handwriting is the same. I tried to write a book for years before Jackie came to me and said she would help me. And my handwriting was like this. Half the time I couldn't read it. I did an audio version of my book years ago, and those tapes disappeared. I thought I would surely be dead after they disappeared. I was putting all my stories on audio while I was driving down the road in a truck. That all disappeared. I don't know how they found out that I was making cassette tapes of my life, but they all disappeared. But I'm going to read this here. They raped me. They shut off my electricity, blowing expensive fuses. They whisper through the walls, threats when I get in the shower, whispering they will rape me. I call police. They hide and run. They will deceive you. They break my ceiling, my roof. This rapist was the local pedophile, John. And with that said, that wasn't me. That was somebody that moved into the neighborhood that was a pedophile. He got a note in the mail that said a pedophile was moving in the neighborhood. But he had told me once that pedophile would come in pretending to be me. He was confused. So it's all confusing. On the papers sent by government, my neighbors helped these criminals. It's very disturbing for me. He was in pain, and he didn't know how to reach out for help. He was calling the police. He was calling the FBI. He was calling everybody, but in his head, he didn't know how to get help. But he was screaming for help. I didn't know how to help him. With that said, in that note, it says that they shut off his air conditioner. He died of heat exposure. There's many unanswered questions I have. I could blame so many people. I could blame myself for what happened, for not doing more, for not checking on. There's so much frustration, so much madness, and I can't express it all. I'll never get over it. I loved him. He was my best friend. He was my best friend here in Bullhead City. For years, he was my son. I treated him like my son. He's gone. It's a huge chunk out of my life. I'll have his memories. But who's to really blame? You know, I believe he is a victim to all this.
Who shut off his air? Do you know? I mean, his air was shut off.
I think he blew a fuse, like it states in the letter there.
Okay.
I really don't know if it just blew the fuse or quit working. I didn't check it out yet. I had to get out of there. I don't know yet. But all he had was a little fan that was blowing, and it was 102 in the house. There was several fans that I had brought over to him, the big square ones, but they weren't plugged in. A month ago, I offered to help work on his swamp cooler. He said, I got it one time. And then he said a week later, it wasn't working again. I offered to fix it for him. And when I did offer, he said, no, I got a little air conditioner I put in the room. I'm okay. But he died of heat exposure. He was out. The neighbor said he was out in the middle of the day. I think it was 110 in Bullhead, maybe a little hotter. He was out doing exercises. He used to go out and do a little exercise and pray. But I don't have all the answers. But the coroner said he died of heat exposure.
Okay. And you feel that that's correct? That's what happened? Because you know,
well,
sometimes
that is what happened.
Okay.
But, and I'm just throwing it out. I'm not accusing anybody of anything.
Yeah.
But with MK Ultra pre-planned things, they could have put it in his head. You're going to go out. You're going to exercise. You're not going to have your air conditioner plugged in. You know, you're going to go sit in your house. You're going to rub lotion all over your head. You're just going to sit there till you die of heat exposure. Not that that's what they would have told him under MK Ultra. But yes, it is possible, very possible, he could have been pre-planned to take his own life that way. I've been under MK Ultra so many times as a child and growing up. It's what they can get somebody to do, to be in a spot at a certain time with mind control. MK Ultra is a deep hypnosis. If anybody is familiar with hypnosis, you can put somebody, and I learned this as a young child about hypnosis. You can put somebody under hypnosis. You can tell them you're going on a date with Marilyn Monroe, and they actually believe they're going on a date with Marilyn Monroe.
Wow.
You wake them up after hypnosis. They have no idea what they ever did. MK Ultra is a tool they use just like deep hypnosis. It's deeper. You can put somebody under, just like hypnosis. You can tell them, you're going to kill someone. You're going to do this at a certain time. You're going to be this place at a certain time. And while they're under, they will do that. And when they wake up, they never remember. Just like the assassin that killed Bobby Kennedy. He says, I had no idea. It wasn't me. And it's such a powerful tool. I believe our CIA has this tool and used it. This is just my opinion now, but got all the people in the positions when my father was assassinated. They put these people right there. A lot of them were connected to the CIA. They would have had contact. They have the tools of this MK Ultra, this mind control. It is huge, but I have learned MK Ultra is huge. A lot of the child trafficking, the child abuse, even in Hollywood, is to use MK Ultra on these children. They do something, they wake up, they never remember. It's the perfect crime. Here's just an example. You put somebody under MK Ultra. You tell them to go rob a bank. You tell them when they rob the bank and get the money to come leave it at a spot. They come and do all that. They wake up. They never even remembered they went and robbed the bank or put the money in that spot. That the people just go pick it up. This is just an example, but it's a pretty good example. I just made up.
Excellent example. Thank you for explaining that. I was going to ask you what MK Ultra mind programming was. Before I move on,
it's just a hypnosis, but mega strong.
Okay. I want to let you all know, family, if you see my eyes moving around, I was trying to figure out how to make somebody a moderator, because you all were asking me where are the moderators. I suppose somebody was in here being very disrespectful. So I don't know how to make people a moderator. I'm sorry. I was trying to look it up. I'm trying to look at all your questions and focus on John at the same time. So please.
Talk about disrespectful.
Okay.
If some of these people were in front of me yesterday, I think it was yesterday, Robin showed me a post. I am a liar. I have nothing but lied. I have lied about my DNA tests. I'm probably lying about my son's death just to make $1. If that person was in front of me, I guarantee you they would not walk out of this house. I guarantee it. But they like to play their keyboard cowboys. They like to hate, disrespect. And with that said, I always think about it. I think about there's so many different types of people in this world. If somebody is injured, say in a car accident, and they're on the side of the road, there's the people that will drive by and say, I don't have time. There's the people that will stop and try to help save that person's life. And then you got the people like I just described that will stop and kick you in the balls and say,
don't even care.
But there's so many types of people, and it's so frustrating, especially trying to share a truthful story like mine and get it out to save lives, literally save lives, maybe save this country on what's coming with all the identity theft. We see it all the time. Our organized crime placing all these members in over the years, controlling our Senate, controlling our Congress, controlling our Supreme Court. It has all been taken over by organized crime, and we really need to wake up. We need to come together, and we need to fix these problems sooner than later.
Yes, you were talking about MK Ultra a little earlier, and the first thing that came to my mind was a lot of these school shootings, and you would hear stories about, this guy, they thought he was such a good guy, upstanding person, and then all of a sudden he just lost it and went inside the school and shot up the.
Yeah. That's really sad.
Yeah, it sounds like MK Ultra.
It is. I'm a personal eyewitness to that. It is. Some of it I'm not sure, but I know it is in my heart, like Las Vegas shooting. They are chiseling away at our gun laws. They are making the East Coast and our West Coast where it's almost impossible to have weapons. Many of our allied countries have no weapons. But these organized crime members do this for many reasons. They try to put it all in a basket to get it all done at once. Maybe somebody that was part of their organization. There's so many possibilities, but they try to put all their things on when they do a school shooting to take away as many things as they can. But yes, many of them are done with MK Ultra, programming these people. You see these people after they do a shooting, their eyes are like this. They're all glossy. Yeah. They look 100% like they were up for days under MK Ultra, being tortured, abused to do this heinous crime. Las Vegas, speaking of that, our FBI did not give the citizens of this country, of Las Vegas, an answer why they did that. You get a guy, lots of money. He has his own airplane. He has enough. Assault rifles are not cheap. They're not cheap. Ammunition is not cheap. This guy had money. He had airplanes. Why would he do what he did for no reason whatsoever but to shoot a concert up? He had to have reasons. He had to have motive. He was probably working for our CIA. He might have turned against him. But our FBI didn't give the answers, just like they're not sharing my story. Same thing. It makes me heartbroken when you hear people say Vegas strong, Vegas strong, Vegas strong. I live near Las Vegas, by the way, but I hear Vegas strong all the time. And it's like, no, you're actually Vegas weak because you don't have the answers. The FBI did not give you the answers. And we probably lost more gun laws. The hotels were sued for millions of dollars for simply renting a room to someone. There's a lot more involved that we don't know about. But if I had to say on a 1 to 10, it was MK Ultra, I would say 9.
Speaking of Vegas, I read an article in which I had heard this anyway, that the Saudi Arabian royal family owned the casinos in Las Vegas. And a lot of
I know the Boyds, and there's a lot goes to Hollywood. A lot of Hollywood people bought into the casinos. Sam Boyd, big Hollywood. But yeah, it was all the Hollywood families, organized crime, and all that. When I was young, it's even in my book. I live in Laughlin, Nevada. Okay. Laughlin, Nevada is a mini Las Vegas. I love to go there. You got the Riverside and Harrah's and the Tropicana. You got them all. It's a mini Las Vegas. It started out with Don Laughlin's Riverside Casino when I was young. Before my book came out, I met with Don Laughlin. And he told me 100% he remembered me as John Kennedy Jr.
Wow.
The week my book came out, he died. But I met with him. He told me he remembered the real death of my family members. Why he died the week I don't have the answers, but it's in my book. When I was a kid, I flew into Laughlin, Nevada in the desert. My mother, Jackie, and Aristotle were both killed here in the desert. It was their hideaway. When Aristotle Onassis was killed, when my mother was killed, Don Laughlin expanded that empire. He totally expanded his little desert casino, and the other families started building. You have the Riverside, you have the Aquarius, you have the Pioneer, you have the Edgewater, Harrah's, Tropicana. All of these big time casinos moved in after that. That's the families moving in. They were probably all allowed to build one casino there. Organized crime is huge. It is way huge. If you help and you're helping the assassination of someone great like my father, they give you a town in your name. They give you millions and millions of dollars. That's how organized crime works. If our federal government, our FBI, followed the money trail, you would have a list. You wouldn't have enough people to be in prison. It would go to Donald Trump. It would go to so many people. I remember as I was a kid, people talking about how much money and property they made killing my loved ones.
John,
they pass it around.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I posted a video on TikTok. I hadn't heard this, but I remember Charles Manson. He was in the Hollywood clique. Everybody knows Charles Manson's story. But I had to post this. And it was Charles Manson talking about the wealth and the money of people in Hollywood. And Charles Manson, and I remember Charles Manson. I have a nightmare about Charles Manson when I was young, but in his video, he was in prison and he said, I had more money 3 times over. I was so wealthy. I had the Ferrari. I had the recording business. I had so much wealth. But he said it was all on paper. He said the people at the top, the people in power, the people running the government, have it, but it's all on paper. And I had to post it. It was such a good example because I believe Charles Manson was part of the CIA crime ring. These people like him and John Gotti and all these other ones that finally get in trouble, I believe it's because they turned on the family. They did something they should have. They got to bring something out. But yeah, it was a good example.
You know, people, I'm reading the chat, a lot of people saying they believe the story, you look like your dad. And then we have some people saying they don't believe it. Where's the DNA? We're going to get to the DNA. But John, I'm trying to, why would you make up an elaborate story like this? You know, like.
Yeah, really, huh? Why would I want to put my life on the line? Why would I want to help save America? I'm not for either party. Either party is corrupt. I get people saying I'm working for Biden. Biden's paying me. I'm working for Trump. Trump's paying me. I'm not working for either party. Why am I exposing them as criminals? Why am I doing this? If it's not the truth. I'm sharing my truth. I'm sharing, and people that do a little research, once they see it, they can't miss it. Most of them. I want justice. I want justice. I'm begging for this to be talked about on the White House lawn. I'm begging this to be in conversation in the Senate, Congress. They can't prove me wrong. They can't, because it's the truth. I want them to do it. I want them to try to prove me wrong. They could pull up my DNA right now, but I have learned that we live in a regime. Most people don't know that. They turn on Fox, they turn on CNN. They are programmed into believing what they want. They won't put this story out as the biggest story. It's huge. Why would I be doing this? There's no reason for me to be doing this. So I can get sent $10 on Cash App. Really?
Yeah, people are sending, that's all they're gonna send you is $10.
But yeah, I have no reason. My life has turned around in the past 6 months. I've had a lot of supporters that have sent me $10, some more. Robin came into my life, blessed me. But I'm John Kennedy Jr., for Christ's sake. There was a comment. I got my disability payment. It should have been for the past 11 years back pay, because I had been trying to get it for 11 years. They screwed me over. They kept lying. They kept not giving my lawyer the information, every other thing in those 11 years. They finally paid me $9,000. And I paid my bills, and I went and bought me a Harley Davidson motorcycle. And I dreamed about having a Harley Davidson my whole life. I'm a little too old to be riding one now with my health issues and every other thing, but I had to have it, and I got it. Robin came into my life, but somebody on the thing said I should sell my Harley to try to save America and pay for advertising and every other thing. I said, I'm John Kennedy Jr. I should be able to go to the Harley Davidson dealership and buy a brand new Harley and not have to buy a used one for $9,000. Truth. They stole billions of dollars from me. And it's so simple. Our federal government and people, that are in charge of, investigating all these crimes, they know what's going on.
And just to set the record straight, you did take several DNA tests and you're awaiting on the results. But let me tell you something, John. I come from a community that they call Black. I don't call myself Black, but they call it the Black community. And one thing that people have always said in my family is you cannot trust who controls the DNA programs and the testing, because the same people that control the government control the DNA. Now, that's what I've always been told. Maybe you can speak to that.
I'm exposing people for pre-planned first-degree murder and identity theft within our very own government. They don't want my story out. How hard would it be for them to switch one vial from another in a lab that they probably own in the first place? But I know I was listening to your show the other day. I know you got a lot of DNA comments. I've taken 5 DNA tests, 5 of them. I had results posted on TikTok. They took my TikTok down. 44,000 followers on TikTok. I believe my DNA results had 50,000 views. I think it's posted on my YouTube channel at John Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr. I think I posted a long time ago when I first started. I don't know, but I've taken 5 DNA tests. The big one, there was some DNA that was sent to space of my father's DNA. It was actually spent. I don't know why they sent my father's DNA. They didn't ask me for my permission, but they sent my father's DNA to outer space. This was the 5th DNA test. I'll share this with you real quick.
Okay.
Me and Robin spent a lot of money. We had a lot of donations. GoFundMe went really well for all this. This was our first DNA that we purchased.
Okay.
This is historic DNA from my mother and my father. We purchased that. We told the scientists, showed them what we had. The scientists said it's not enough. This little strand, they cannot test this because the root's not there. They can't test it. So we went and we bought more DNA. We had to buy a lock of DNA of my father from his barber. And it's the same DNA they sent in space. The test alone to test my DNA and his DNA is really, really expensive. It's not cheap test to test a hair sample of DNA and compare it father to son. We also purchased this little strand of hair from my mother. I didn't want to test this one. In my book, it explains why I didn't, because my mother was killed in front of my very own eyes in 1975. So where did that hair sample come from? Did I want to spend thousands of dollars testing my mother's DNA from a hair sample that could have been after 1975? I just don't know, but I didn't want to spend that kind of money doing it. So the test took 6 to 8 weeks to test my DNA with my father's DNA. I didn't want to announce it. We kept it secret. People kept screaming, "Show me your DNA. You're a fake. You're not showing your DNA." Our government's so corrupt. I didn't want to tell the whole world I paid all this money. A scientist is testing the exact hair samples. We actually got a call today. That lock of hair that went to space was tested, and it is inconclusive. They don't even know if it was actual human hair. So we spent thousands of dollars, but the scientist that is doing the testing said he believes my story. I sent him a copy of my book. He said, "I've read your book, and I believe your story. And I'm going to do what it takes to prove you are John Kennedy Jr."
That's beautiful.
So that is coming. That is not why I haven't shared. I have been sharing, but that's the big one. I see Henry just popped up. Henry is
yes, okay.
Henry McCohen. I see he popped up. I call him Lions. Henry is my brother. Awesome man, sharing my story every day to the world.
I just started following him. Yes.
I love you too, brother, with all my heart. We're going to Washington with you by my side.
When I hear your story, John, and thank you, Henry, for sharing the story, because you gave me the courage to keep moving forward, sharing his story. So thank you. When I hear your story, John, it reminds me of Whitney Houston's eldest daughter, Rena. So for those people who don't know, a lot of people on my channel know that Rena Houston and I are very good friends. We've been friends about a decade now. She has a similar story. Her mom was sexually assaulted when she was a teenager. The child was taken from her, sold to another family, like you were given to the Quigleys. But this family were handlers, just like the Quigleys, I assume, were handlers of you. And she had memories of her mom, but she never put it together that these people who were her handlers, her new family, she couldn't put it together, like where'd they come from? So she just, okay, she's a child, right? There's my new family. She went through sexual assault, ritualistic abuse. They sent people to her. She's thinking she's falling in love with people, but really these people in control send people to you, right? Rena was telling me stories about go ahead.
You can pass this on to her if you want to.
Okay.
How I would lay in bed every night MK Ultra, you're under hypnosis when a lot of it is going on. So right at the point where I was drifting off to sleep, I would start remembering dreams that were real in my mind and putting all the pieces and puzzles together. But her story, she's not alone. Probably a lot, and I mean a lot of people in Hollywood in the music industry are victims. Many of them won't come out. Many of them are scared for their lives. They won't share their stories. I met so many people being a Hollywood actor, being shown the music industry, and I don't know why or what happened, but I was literally shown. I was taken. I probably met Whitney Houston. I met so many great people, so many wonderful artists. Wayne used to say it's a small world. A good example is how people say, how could you meet so many people? Well, look at the Dave Letterman show, the Tonight Show, the Oprah Winfrey Show. Every single day, they have 2 or 3 new guests on. Their little black book, their address book, has hundreds and hundreds of these people in their little black book. These people running these, Wayne, his little black book had everybody in it. And they were all in control. It's all the same small world. It's all controlled by organized crime. Now it's all about the money, the power that they have it. They do. But our government,
they abuse you. They keep you perpetually poor, right?
They keep you afraid. They tell you how to spend your money, where to spend your money, how to pass your money along. They get their percentages.
Somebody wanted to know, John, if you could talk about the plane. I don't know what plane crash you're talking about, Small Face. Are you talking about John?
Probably John.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll talk about that one. Okay. I was also, I've been in more than one plane crash. God has kept me alive. He really has. I probably pissed off these people in organized crime with all the attempts of them trying to take my life and not being able to. But in 1999, I was asked to go to a wedding with John. I had met John on and off. I knew he was my stepbrother. They told me he was my stepbrother. I believe in 1999, they tried to kill us all in that plane. Anyway, they were taking me to a wedding to have me killed anyway. So they wanted me dead at the wedding. They wanted me dead in it's so crazy, organized crime and the killings. They love plane crashes. They really do. My stepbrother, Alexander Onassis, died in my arms in a plane crash, but he actually died from a bullet to his head while we were in midair on the plane. But the John, and I made a video of, I'm going to skip around. I'll get back to John's plane crash. Aristotle Onassis' son, my new stepbrother, he was my new stepbrother. I loved him. I was there the day he got a brand new spanking Jaguar, handed the keys from Aristotle Onassis. I had a new brother, a new family. I was thrilled. Anyway, he was shot. He was killed in my arms, all covered up by the way things are going. But they love plane crashes. But in 1999, when John, his wife, and her sister died in that plane, we were going to a wedding. Like I said, that wedding was to kill me. We were on board that airplane. It was John, his wife, the sister to my left, and me. We took off. John said to his wife, I can't steer the aircraft. We were turning in a circle this way while we were sitting there. The plane was going this way. He said, I can't steer. He started getting paranoid. She started yelling at him. He started yelling at her. While they were yelling at each other, I said, hey, calm down. I'm a calm guy. I'm a calm guy right before I'm going to die. But I said, calm down. I said, if the plane's only steering left, you can't steer it. Just slow your airspeed down. They didn't hear me. He didn't hear me. They were too busy yelling like a husband and wife would yell at each other, fighting. While they were doing that, I was grabbing the life preserver under the seat. I put it on. We hit the ground so dang hard, the water, I mean. I messed up my shoulder from the thing. I didn't know if I was bleeding. Anyway, I got to the door. I grabbed the sister. I pulled her out. We got a little away from the plane. I had been taught, from, special ops swimming, if you get near that aircraft, if you get near something sinking, no matter if it's a boat or what it is, you're going to die. It's going to undertow. We'll pull you in with it. I was pulling on the sister, and I'm bad with names. I can't even remember her name, but she was fighting with me. I was like, we got to get out of here. We got to get away from this thing. It's sinking. She said, I got to go save my sister. I can't let her. I got to go. She was fighting with me. My training told me to slug her and knock her out and pull her to safety. That's what you do when somebody's struggling with you in the water. That's what I wanted to do. But she was struggling with me, and I was like, it's her sister, if she can get her out. But anyway, I let go. They all three drowned. I was there with my life vest on. I was in pain. I thought I was going to get eaten by a shark. If I remember right, it was cloudy. It was like in the distance, and it started raining. But the waves were really big. I had my life preserver on like this on my back, thinking I was going to get eaten by a shark. A wave would come up, and I would twist my head around the best I could to see if I could see lights in the distance of shore. I thought I seen some at one time, but the waves were they would bring you up and down where you couldn't see anything. So I just started kicking and paddling towards those lights. I eventually went into shock. I can't remember anything. I can't remember. I barely remember getting picked up by a ship, thrown on the deck. I remember blankets just covering me, trying to keep me warm, but I was in hell of shock at that time. I remember somebody pacing in front of me. I think it was the captain of that ship. I don't know if it was a Coast Guard ship. Later, Wayne told me the captain had orders from Bill Clinton to throw me back into that ocean. And he purposely brought me to, I believe it was the White House, when Bill Clinton gave the announcement that John was dead. But Wayne took me to a warehouse, and that's where the wreckage was being put together of that plane that crashed. One of the federal agents walked up, handed Wayne a quarter, and said, this is what caused the crash of that plane that killed them. It was a quarter with George Washington on it. That's a total mafia hit. They put that quarter in because that was his name. And I believe all that put together, what happened that day was the mafia, the retaliation for John and Caroline killing the fake Jackie Kennedy, poisoning her. The mafia was retaliating, letting the whole world know you killed one of us. And that was done just to inherit all of Jackie Kennedy's money. John, the world knew, was a greedy, evil man. I talked to him at a party once, and he told me at that party he wanted to take over New York City. He wanted to be the next John Gotti and run New York. Yeah, that came out of his mouth. That's how greedy he was. But his wife was even greedier because she wanted me dead also. So that's my story on that. I heard a tape where they were both talking, him and his wife. That tape was, presented to me by a federal probably agent that got it on tape. But it was, they wanted to kill me, so I would never share this story. People don't realize what I've been through, how God has walked with me, so I can share this story to them. If you don't believe me, do a little research. That's up to you. But I'm putting my life on the line to get this out to America of what's really going on. I get a lot of haters. There's a lot of evil people out there, a lot of enemies that don't want this out. And most of my enemies have billions of dollars. They've been in control. So that's what we're up against. But I share my stories. I try to be 100% truthful. I've never wrote anything down. I can't write it down for a script to be sharing with everybody. I can't remember names. I've never been a good public speaker. I really haven't. I was tortured not to remember names. I was kidnapped many times and tortured. There's a picture of me in a dog cage. That's in the book, I believe. I don't know if the picture's in there or not. The FBI didn't know who was in that dog cage till I told them it was me. Then they didn't want to know anymore.
John, thank you for sharing your story. A lot of things you're saying, I've heard from Rena. I even spoke to Nancy Pelosi's daughter-in-law once because I know a friend, a mutual friend, and she told me a lot of the same things, you know, that she went through. I'll leave, you know, some of the stuff out for them to tell their own story. But go ahead.
I met Nancy Pelosi when I was real young. The only reason why I remember Nancy Pelosi when I was real young, because I saw a picture of her. When I was young, she was part of the Kennedy clique. I met Nancy Pelosi, I don't remember, but it was at a party years and years ago. And she was asked at that time, this was Nancy Pelosi, do you want to bring out John and his story, or do you want to be part of government and become rich and famous? She took the rich and famous. That's the truth. That's just my part of sharing. That's how they get people and cover up stories like mine. They're placed. They're not elected. They're selected. Many stories like that.
John, a lot of people in the comments are like, and I don't want to upset anybody, but they're wondering, like, if both sides are controlled by the deep state, the cabal, the evil folks, is there any hope? Like, what are we supposed to do? I mean, just your opinion.
We need to unite. You know, their plan to take things over is not a plan. It's one big movie. I'm asking everybody to share my story. I'm asking everybody to use me as an example, expose me, put my life in danger, use me as an example, get my story out. Let's make this world, but use me and share. United we stand, divided we're going to fall. I'm willing to go to Washington. I'm willing to go to Arlington to have a big photo op, but I keep getting hindered. I was announcing on TikTok, share my story. I'll go to Arlington for you. We'll all join up. But they know this, so they keep hindering. So that's how I know it'll work. Because if they're keeping me hindered from exposing them and bringing my story out so we can clean things up, so we can get justice in government, and they keep hindering me, it's got to work. They wouldn't be hindering me otherwise. So that's the best plan I can have. The best example is share my story. Let's make it world. Let's make my book a number one book. And it's not because I, want to be rich and I want to sell books. It's if my book is number one, they can't deny it. If we can get mainstream media with a big photo op in Arlington, Virginia, they're toast. They're done. If we can just break their barrier, get out of the bubble, if we have to go old school, get as many people like Kia to help share this and get it out, let's do it. But let's unite. If everybody remembers the Million Man March, that happened. We can do that again. We can all unite. We can do it. And that, I believe, they'll be crawling back under their rocks.
I want to say two things, John. Number one, if you were not telling the truth, why would they block your social media? Why, when I shared information about you, did they remove me from TikTok and take down my videos? When Ron shared information about you, they gave him, you know, some type of message. Why would they do that? Number one, if you were not telling the truth. And number two, why don't they sue you? Why won't they sue you for telling a lie?
Somebody actually on X said they won't sue me because it's the truth. If they take me to court, I will expose them, and then they'll be screwed.
It'll come out of discovery. The evidence will come
I
out.
am sharing 100% truthful. You know, I'm going back 60 years, so a lot of things just might be memory, but the main base story, me being the real John Kennedy Jr., and people can see it, is truth. I had people like Henry and so many lions, you know, all these people on TikTok sharing my story. They would get banned for sharing this book. They would get taken down for sharing this book over and over again. They were buying brand new cell phones just to be able to share my story. Bless their heart. That's America. That's who I want running this country. These lions that are willing to get taken down and knocked down and get picked back up. You know, I do center interviews with Sue Greenwald Tuesdays. We have been hindered. We have been scrambled. They have messed up our videos where we couldn't even post them because I have had to get internet, couldn't do internet, had to get internet. Then on the day of the interview, I wouldn't have internet over and over and over and over again. I've had to call 20 times to my internet provider just to get internet. We're being hindered. I even asked the internet guy after the 20th time, you think somebody's messing with us and they're actually clicking on your computer to take me down? He was like, no, they would, but he didn't know my story either. But yeah, hindered. I do a story. I've done a couple stories with Jesse Hall, the missing link. He's had to reboot his computer just to do our show. And then it was scrambled. The last show we did, he was kicked off, I think, 4 or 5 times.
Wow.
I'm real happy me and you haven't had a glitch yet.
Actually, I have had a couple glitches in that where you'll freeze while you're talking. Just a few, but I noticed it. Yeah.
Well, I paid extra. I don't know how I'm going to afford all this, but I paid extra for high-speed internet just so I could do this. But the guy told me when he came over the other day after I had problem after problem, he said, hey, you pay extra for high-speed internet. You can talk on the computer and watch TV all at the same time. And, you know, hey, if I want that much power, I need it. I want it. Give it to me.
Excuse me, 1 minute. Sci-Fi, I cannot find you. In order to make you a moderator, I have to go to the YouTube, the office, the studio, and I have to look for your name and type your name in there, and I can't find you in there. So if you know another way where I can make you a moderator, just please let me know because I'm having a hard time. I was able to make the other gentleman a moderator, but I don't know how to make you a moderator. So put it down there for me. John, I know you're probably tired and you've been through a lot. I don't want to keep you too long. But there was something I wanted to show these pictures. I was looking for pictures of you with your father. But they took down your your TikTok channel.
Yeah, they totally just I shared our interview. I made 2 videos. One, last time I saw it was at 17,000 views. And then the next day I made another one. And when I went back to see how many views it had, I was totally gone. They wouldn't even let me log in. They said your account's been permanently suspended. No warnings or nothing. I know they were taking down my lions left and right. Every time I would do a live on TikTok Live, just for me being John Kennedy Jr., they would take me down. I've had to live with that my whole life. With I would be mentally exhausted with what I went through, and I would think, why? It's not nothing I've done to anyone, but it's who I am. Mm-hmm. That's why. It's what I can expose. Why all the attempts on my life and every other thing had happened.
Gosh, yeah. Let me see if I can find a picture I thought maybe I put one up on my Twitter account, but I don't see it. Gosh. Well, what I do have though is something on the fake account. They put, oh, wait a minute. I do have something, John. Hold on. And while people are looking at this, I need to get my charger to my computer. But let me show you this right here. Does that look right here? This is you,
That's
right?
me. I remember that too.
Remember that? Let me look for my
Yeah,
charger.
look at that big fat nose, those big lips, and those big fat earlobes. When I was a young teenager, I was dealing with it, and I was like, "Hey, I'm the one that's got the big nose and the fat lips and the big ears."
Hold on 1 minute.
But yeah, I remember I remember, looking at the pictures. Robin did age progression app the other day. It was a picture just like this, but I believe I was a little older than that, and it freaked me out so bad. So if your viewers want to mess around with these apps on the internet now, they're all over the place. Take a picture like that, age progress it, and then compare my picture right here to the John the whole world knew.
Look at this.
See what you get.
This is you now, right? Or
well, yeah, that was me. I'm thinking about 4 or 5 months ago.
Wow.
I'm here in Arizona, and that pendant. There was a local artist. He was at the flea market, and the guy selling the jewelry said he really needed some help, and he was selling his jewelry for his buddy that was sick. And I was like, I'll buy that. I like that. Maybe it'll help the guy out. And I haven't had the money to afford jewelry. I think I got some royalty on my book that day, but it was like, I like that. It's not real silver, but it's real turquoise. And
yeah, that doesn't look like John. That looks.
Look at that big old pug nose. And the hair color, you can tell the hair color right there. That is not jet black hair, but I get so many haters, so many comments. Well, your hair went from light brown, blondish to jet black because that shit happens sometimes. And your earlobes are like a fingerprint. People, look at those earlobes on the screen. Look at these earlobes right here. I can't see if that's being shown or not, but
okay. Let me. You had a picture of the two. Hold on.
My big fat earlobe.
Yeah, yes. Let me move this picture out the way right quick. Okay, just look at the earlobes here, family. And now let's look at
a big fat earlobe.
Hold on 1 minute, John. Let me take that off the screen and look at your earlobe. Okay, move your hand for a minute. Okay. Okay. I
got the big fat earlobe, just like ears. I hope my ear was clean. But ears are like a fingerprint. That's why when I was young, they had us grow the hair. Ears will identify identical twins from one another. They're that precise. They don't change. They just get older. But yeah, if you look at this earlobe on the picture she's got up, if you look at my ear, it's the same pattern. Now, let me explain. The John Kennedy Jr., the whole world knew. He didn't have an earlobe. His earlobe was connected to his jawline. And it's clear in this picture. I got an earlobe. The John Kennedy Jr. that stole my identity after I was 10 years old has no earlobe, people. It's right in front of you. The big fat pug nose, this big fat pug nose right here. I still got it. The big lips, totally different person, but the world didn't catch it. They wanted Mr. Pretty Boy, Mr. America. And that's what the world got. The world gets what they want, but they didn't notice kidnapping, child abuse, and torture of the son of our former president. And I hope many get it now. I really, really do.
Somebody is asking if you could take your hat off. I don't even know if that's a respectful question or not.
Yeah, you had that. I wasn't going to wear a hat, and
Hold on.
Robin said, "What hat you going to wear?" I don't know why.
I don't know why that matters though.
Yeah, but maybe they just want to see my sweaty forehead. I'm here in Arizona, and it's hot. I've been many things, from wearing a suit to tuxedo to being a biker. But I like the cowboy look. I like the cowboy hats. And the main thing is, in my book, somebody took this picture for this book. It was taken off the internet, off of one of a TikTok video, I believe. And I was wearing this hat. And so I like wearing this hat when I'm sharing my book because this is me. This is the real deal. But I don't mind. Somebody said I was wearing a mask one day. And
oh, maybe that's what.
I have no reason to wear a mask. I'm missing a tooth. I can't afford dental work and all this other stuff. But somebody said, "You're not, John. You're wearing a mask." I was like, I made a video pulling on myself, slapping myself in the face. I was like, I have nothing to hide. I have no reason to be somebody else. But yeah, that's my forehead. I'm going bald. This is my hair color right there. If you look at the childhood photos that you just seen, look at the ones in color. That's the real deal right there.
Hold on, like you said, look at the childhood. Let's look one more time. Okay. Here you go. Wow.
It's definitely not jet black hair, that's for sure.
Well, some people say, they thought John looked like your mom, and maybe it was he favored your mother's side of the family.
Yeah, my mom had a big pug nose, so I really don't. My mother had a big pug nose, and I remember her long toes. She had toes like fingers. I call them finger toes. That's something I won't forget. But people say, "Oh, well, he looked just like your mother. You're crazy," and blah 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 blah. Compare them to Maria Callas, and compare his childhood photos to Maria Callas, and compare them to Aristotle Onassis. It's plain as day there also. Plain as day. Henry is wonderful at pulling videos up like that. He's made many comparing these people.
Maria Callas, she's okay. That's his mistress. John Onassis' mistress. It was
Aristotle Onassis' mistress.
I'm sorry.
That was John. That was John's mother.
Okay. Wow. Famous opera singer.
And I remember them cheating right in front of me.
Wow.
I do. I was sent to his yacht, and she was there with Aristotle. Jackie was not there yet, and I was told to go to my room. But they all like to play around.
Yeah,
that's big time in Hollywood and the music industry. They all get together, and because they're all the clique.
Yeah, and you hear stuff.
It makes them more of a clique when they're having sex with these other people. It makes them more of a family type thing. But I remember the parties from when I was young.
Wow. Now, before I ask you some final questions, I know this isn't your channel, but I just wanted for people maybe who missed it, can I show them this video? Look, this video here. I don't know if you can see it right here.
Oh yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Okay.
That was on TikTok. I don't know if I got it shared on YouTube or not, but
okay, here we go.
Oh, that is TikTok. Yeah, they took that down.
Oh man. Oh, I don't know if we can show it. Is it just a picture?
Yeah, they took that channel down. It might be on YouTube if anybody wants to. I might have shared that on. It still might be on YouTube. I don't know. Okay. But that video right there had that's an old one.
That was only 10,000 views. You had one that was a lot more.
That's a fake account of mine.
Okay.
That is a fake account. So that video got 10,000 views on the fake account. That video on my real account before they took it down had, 500,000 views. It had 500,000 views.
That's a whole lot. And let me show, I'm going to show people what your YouTube channel looks like. And I'm going to ask you if this
But
is
yeah,
the
that
correct.
account of me is gone, people. If you go to YouTube and you see on my account, it's a fake account. Don't get suckered. Don't get fooled by these people. Right now, I only have Facebook that is totally hacked, totally blocked. Our government is already in control of Facebook, not sharing my videos on Facebook. Also, I have a Clapper account. I don't know how it works yet, but I also have a YouTube. I see the love of my life on there.
Where here is this is
Right
your
in the
correct
middle, right there. That's Robin right there next to my book.
where
And
where am I? Here?
right down the very bottom of I can see with the hearts.
Right. Oh, this is Robin.
Yeah.
This is the love of your life.
That's we went to when I first got the motorbike, I took her to Lake Havasu. And I was sharing Lake Havasu, Arizona with her because I was at Lake Havasu on opening day. And I want people to, the London Bridge is in Lake Havasu, Arizona. I called Queen Elizabeth my queen mother. I bowed to her. I called her my queen mother. So why is the London Bridge right here in Arizona? Right where my mother was killed, right where Aristotle was killed. They brought the bridge there. What was done, I remember them talking about it. There was Mr. McCulloch that had millions of dollars. He was in the entertainment industry also. But they spent millions of their own dollars to have that bridge from the Queen brought in. It was a sign of power. It's a monument for somebody's murder. I don't know. I was explaining where my mother was murdered. They built the Arizona Memorial. Where Aristotle Onassis was murdered, they got power lines all over the place. Organized crime with all these billions of dollars do that thing to show their power. Where my mother was killed at that gas station in 1975, they put an Arizona Memorial right there. You could stand right where she was shot and see all the flags. But that's what they do.
John, who is this?
That's my dumbass as a kid right there.
That's what okay, wait a minute. I thought it looked like you. Let me see. I want to get off here.
There's a gal named Jody. She sent me a thing of all my videos. I haven't had time, but that's actually me as Richard Steele when I was a kid. If you look at all the pictures, this is another thing people don't pay attention to. There's hundreds of pictures of me using my left hand in all the pictures. When I was in the movies as a child actor, when I was young, I'm washing the car with my left hand. I'm doing things with my left hand. I was in the movie with Doris Day, 6 egg rolls, or 6 is enough egg rolls. I was in many things. I'm in that washing my hand with my left hand. But you can see in the movie videos of me with my father, I was using my left hand. When I got older in life, they would slap my left hand and told me I had to use my right hand from now on. I would be punished for reaching out with my left hand. But you can tell in all the old videos, I'm holding things in my left hand, in the Hollywood things. But yeah, Jody did put all the collection for me, sent it to me as a gift. Jody's awesome. She was making videos of all my childhood career, which is really cool. It brought back a lot of old memories. And the actors that I met, the guy on the show Emergency, when I did that show, he gave me his necklace. Government agents take it away from you, our shadow government or whatever you want to call them, took my necklace away, but he was kind enough to give me a necklace. With that said, King Smarty sent me this necklace. King Smarty is a wonderful supporter. He's bailed me out more than once from poverty and paid my bills for me. He sent me this and said, this will help my post-traumatic stress disorder. So a shout out to Smarty.
Shout out to you, King Smarty. They want me to show a picture.
He really has a heart of gold.
They asked me to show a picture of John. I don't I guess maybe they want to see. Let's see. You know, a lot of people are being told that John F. Kennedy Jr. is alive. He survived the plane crash, but they show us the other John. They show us John. And a lot of us believed it.
It's all BS. It's all media spin. He's not coming back. All the posts from the Q movement and everything else, Henry pulled them all up and debunked every single one of them. Henry is good at that, but it's age progression photos. If you find a photo of him coming back, Henry debunked them all. It's just, but I can guarantee you the man's not coming back. He tried to mess with John Kennedy Jr. He ain't coming back.
Oh, look, wait a minute. I just pulled up John F. Kennedy Jr. as a child, and it's not that other guy that comes up.
It is, because these were all my childhood photos.
This is you, right?
Yeah, that's me. All of them are me up to the age of 10. All the photos are me, and you can see the hair color. You can see the big nose, pug lips, but people didn't notice. They switched me out when I was 10. So every single photo you see as a child are of me, the real me. I remember that guy right there too. That was Christmas, one of those Christmas guys.
Yeah, I remember
the Kennedys loved Christmas. They loved ornaments. We all would sit but I remember that guy. I played with him for a while.
Now, who is this guy with the dark hair? Do you know who that is? Is that the other John?
That might have been me. They started having me grow my hair long. They were planning it for a while.
Okay.
I really can't tell, but they were working us in. That might be the fake. It almost looks like the fake Caroline.
This is mind blowing. Is this your mom and dad?
Yeah, that's me. I would pull on my mother's pearls. And this is just an example of how much money they've stolen from me. When I was that age, I was pulling on my mother's white pearls. There was a picture taken by an artist. Gosh, I'm bad with names. He was a famous artist. I had a piece of his artwork once. But anyway, that one photo at auction, Sotheby's auction, that Donald Trump was involved in, sold for $150,000 for one picture. One picture of me pulling on my mother's pearls. I wanted that picture so bad, but it sold for $150,000, and none of that money went to me. But that's just an example of all the money that has been stolen when you're talking $150,000 for one picture, let alone all her jewelry, all the mansions, all the houses. And I have lived in poverty without ever owning my own. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
It's disturbing. John, people want to know if you could please share the story of who's protecting you. Who's the team that's protecting you?
I don't want to know. I don't want to share it.
Okay. What about the?
I'm not gonna tell anybody what the combination to my lock is, so they can come open it.
Good. Okay. In the book, you talk about who your mom paid to protect.
I'll tell you who's protecting me right here where I'm sitting.
Okay.
We're on YouTube. We can get away with this. This is Daddy. Remember Dirty Harry? You remember the Dirty Harry series? Clint Eastwood. This is a 44 Magnum, and it'll take your hand clean off. But there's a 44 Magnum.
JFK.
I got it engraved right there.
Wow, I know that's right.
So if somebody tries to come in here while I'm doing a video with you, I'll take their head clean off.
I know that's right. So the person that, since you are the real JFK Jr., the person that died in the crash was somebody else. And somebody's asking, yes, that's what we're saying.
He was my stepbrother, George Onassis. I don't know if bastard's the right term, but Aristotle had a mistress. They had a son. There was many Aristotles going on, but organized crime decided to place him in my shoes. He lived my life. He lived a life of wealth, power, with organized crime until his death in 1999. He's not coming back. He never will. It's all bullshit after that.
So I wanted, for anybody that's coming in late, I just want them to hear a little bit. I want them to hear you tell your story within a few seconds or a few minutes. So I was going to ask you if I can share this video. Is this a video of you just telling a little bit about who you are?
I've literally made thousands of videos.
Okay.
And they all basically, people say, quit repeating yourself. You're telling the same story over and over again. I'm sharing the same story over and over again for the people that haven't heard it. My story should have millions of views, and it's not. My story is basic. I'm John Kennedy Jr. I'm the real one. My father was the president of the United States. Our corrupt government is not exposing the truth. That's my story. And with that said, I want my name back. The government agents gave me the name David Quigley. My mother was killed. My sister was killed. My dad's side of the family, my mother's side of the family, they were all killed over money. I want justice for my mom. I want justice for my sister. I want justice for the whole family. I want justice for me. They don't want me to get justice because I'm exposing that they are criminals. That's, and with that said, if we can expose them, this world, that the criminals they are, the criminals that are running this country, will make this world a better place from the get-go. But we got to get rid of these criminals that are covering up pre-planned first-degree murder, identity theft, and theft of billions and billions of dollars.
Absolutely. I want to show them people how to get a hold of your book. I have it. I wanted to read it, and I did read it thoroughly before I had you on, out of respect for you, to get to know a little bit about you. Yes.
If we can get this book on the charts and sell some copies, it will help make the world a better place. We gotta break the bubble of the media not wanting to share my story and get it out to the world. It's a huge story. My story right here should be on the #1. Fox News should be talking about it every day. CNN, NBC, ABC, all these should be talking about my story. The real John Kennedy Jr. covered up, kidnapped by government. It's all controlled by government, people. Our media is a regime. No better than China, no better than Russia. It's a regime, one of these third world countries where you have rulers. You have the government running things, controlling us. America is supposed to be where we control the government, not the other way around.
Absolutely.
But now the government controls us. Let's break that barrier. Share my story. Let's get it out. Let's make it world. Please, please. If you can afford it, get the book. Send it to your congressman. Send it to a senator. Send it to your mother. But let's get it out. Let's break the barrier of the media that's hindering us and making it impossible to get it out. And I noticed Amazon the other day lowered the price to $17.99, which is awesome.
It was $19.99. Yes, it's $17.99.
Yeah.
But Kindle version for
we
$9.
don't have any control on Amazon, what they charge or the percentage. I do believe for every book I sell, I get like $4, maybe $4.25 or something. So it's nothing I'm getting rich on. I'm planning on buying more books to give away. Last time I got a book check, I bought 30 copies of my book to give away. And I only have a couple left. But every time I give a book away, it costs me a little money. I can't go to McDonald's that day, but somebody else is going to hear the truth.
Some people think you sound like this guy named Juan 07. Juan 07 is a character that comes on video.
Yeah, I've seen a picture of his boot.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to say, John, show us your boot.
Actually, I got my boat shoes on.
Oh, your boat shoes. Okay.
I got my bands on.
Okay. Nice looking bands. I wish he had the boots on so we could see.
Oh, I'm kicking back here in front of the computer today, so I don't have my cowboy boots with me. But
here's a good question. Oh, go ahead. Take your time, John.
Oh, I was just looking for my boots, but I don't see them.
Okay.
They're around here somewhere, probably kicked in the corner or something.
Somebody asking if President Trump can help you. Listen, family. So what he's saying now, okay, let's just keep an open mind. I'm keeping an open mind. We see Biden, right, with mask on. A lot of people have said Jim Carrey is playing the Biden character. We've seen CGI of him. We've seen people with, they show the ears and then you can see the mask, you know. And so we know that somebody's playing that character. We also see many different versions of Donald Trump. The most recent person I heard was playing Donald Trump was, I can't think of the name. Gosh. It's an actor.
All Hollywood. Henry pulled up a bunch, but
Okay.
It's Hollywood. Saturday Night Live. If you notice Saturday Night Live, they try to see how many people are the best at playing the part and the role of somebody. There was a few different people trying to play Donald Trump. I'm sure there's been few playing Biden, but some of them get pretty spot on at what they do. They're Hollywood actors.
So absolutely. So I'm just saying, we know that they're Hollywood actors. You know, perhaps, let's just say for the sake of argument, Donald Trump did pass away in 1989, or for those of us who believe he is hidden away at Cheyenne Mountain, protected by the white hats of the military. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, John, that happens. They could be using the seat or the office of the president to take down the deep state. I know, John, we're saying that they're all corrupted, but sometimes they use characters, or they use the office, or they use the name. You know, notice that they chose the name Trump, you know, the Trump card. When you trump somebody, you take over them. I think you speak over them. What does Trump actually mean? What I'm trying to say is maybe they're just using the name or the person.
They're using those billions of dollars.
They're using his money.
Yeah, they're using Trump's money. They made billions of dollars, just like they made billions of dollars replacing me. They made billions of dollars replacing Donald Trump.
Gosh darn it.
with that said, people, wake up. We don't need a billionaire running the show when we have poverty and homeless. You get these homeless, these people living in shacks flying a Trump flag. That man does not care that you're living in poverty. He's still got his high rise to go to. But that's the way our system's put in place. These people have hope in somebody, but it's not going to be him, people. It's not.
It's going to be us, right?
It's going to be us. It's going to be, you know, all the brothers and sisters that I've met along the way, all these people. We, the people, we need to get rid of the Trumps. We need to get rid of the Bidens. We need to get rid of all these. We need to take our country back and put the real people in place that don't need billions of dollars of our money.
I love that. And you know, I told you before we started that, you know, I'm a conservative. I'm a Trump supporter. However, my mind is open. And one thing I've always told people is we have to stop waiting on the white hats. We have to stop waiting on the president. We have to take our sovereignty back, and we have to, you know, do what we can do to help each other survive. We can do that by bartering with each other, by uniting, you know, by helping each other, doing business.
People need to wake up. They don't have a plan. Their plan's a stall. I've got the best plan I can think of is share my truthful stories. Let's get it out, and let's give this country back to people that aren't wearing a suit and have billions of dollars and have a motorcade with 20 cars burning fuel and jets flying around costing thousands and thousands of dollars. Let's take our country back for the people that can't afford to put gas in their car to get to work because gas prices are so high. Can't afford to buy groceries. Those people need to be running this country.
That's right. And I hear you getting hoarse. I don't want to keep you too much longer. I have one more question before I ask you for your final thoughts. Have you heard of NESARA and JSARA, the National Economic Security and Reformation Act?
You asked me that the other day, and I wasn't sure. I think that's the name you put out there. I haven't. But yeah, bring it up. I want to hear.
This here?
And matter of fact, Robin brought this up.
Okay.
Because she said RV, and I said the only RV I know is my recreation vehicle.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
Ron, I was talking to Ron this morning. He was talking finances, and I was like, Ron, I'm poor. My whole life have never had any money to invest, let alone to worry about how to invest it. I really haven't. But he was bringing it up that the currency is changing and
Yes.
things. But I got a few bucks. I couldn't even afford to invest if I had it. So
okay. Oh, so our friend Ron was telling you, Anthony was telling you about the revaluation of currencies. So
yeah,
basically,
he called me up. We chat every now and again. But yeah, he's called me and gave his condolences on what.
yeah.
And I was like, Ron, I'm going crazy. And we were talking, but we got interrupted by somebody.
Okay.
But yeah, he brought it up about how currency's changing and everything.
Yes. Yes.
But yeah, I'll worry about it next week if I sell a book, I guess.
So the best way we can help John is to get out his story, because him telling this story really exposes the government. It exposes the deep state, the cabal, how they've been a mafia. And we've been talking about this. We know this, that there are bloodline families that have controlled the United States of America. They usurped authority from our republic, and they incorporated themselves in, and the earliest date we know of is 1871 in the state of Delaware as the United States Incorporated, as a nonprofit religious organization. Religious because the Pope allegedly is supposed to be over this entity. They have their own constitution called the Constitution of the United States Incorporated, which is completely separate from our lawful republic and the Constitution for the republic. So this group of bloodline families usurped authority from our government, our constitution, took over our freedoms. And just like John Fitzgerald Kennedy Sr. said, they had a plan to enslave the entire world. In fact, let me read what he said. He said, there is a plot in this country to enslave every man, woman, and child. Before I leave this high and noble office, I intend to expose this plot. John F. Kennedy Jr. This is John F. Kennedy. John F. Kennedy Sr. This is Junior's dad that said that. So we know that it's a fake
And
government.
they're just about there. I am so concerned that they got all the people in place, all the criminals where they want them, that plot is very, very soon. I know they've been little by little, but I'm concerned that it's really near.
So, John, thank you so much for your time. I don't want to.
Thank you. You're giving me the platform tonight. You're awesome. Everybody loves you. So many good comments from people. I was like, I gotta do it. I got to. She's awesome. I heard your first. I'm sure it wasn't your first, but I heard you talking about me, and it's like, I can't say no to this. So, but thank you so very, very much. I appreciate you with all my heart. Thank you.
You're welcome, John. People really want to donate to you. I know you don't want to ask for money. I know they shut down some of your accounts, but I think it would be an honor for some of us, that want to give. And we want to know, how can we give, John? If we want to support you.
Well, they just took down my Venmo, so don't donate anything to Venmo. Okay. I got a cash out. If you have $1, that's way cool. Okay. I don't ask anybody to, anything helps. Don't go overboard. I'm asking people to write me a letter, so my P.O. box is there. I did get a check in the mail a couple of weeks ago. It was made out to John Kennedy Jr. I'm fighting for my name back. The name given to me by government is David Keith Quigley. That's a name that I've had to live with. I go by John, but don't write me a check, John Kennedy. They'll laugh at me like they did the last time I went in there at the bank. Not that they laughed, but they was like, we can't cash this. And I was like, well, let me cross this out and put my real, the name given to me by government. And they're like, you can't do that. I was like, why not?
This is what, so Henry gave it, is Poor Boy John Jr. This is your Cash App. Yes.
Yeah, that's me. Thanks, Henry.
Thanks, Henry. We appreciate you. And what's the post office? I know you sent it to me, but it's on my phone. Henry, do you have the post office? Okay, you got it.
I got it here.
Okay.
It's John Kennedy Jr. You can write me. I opened a post office box under John Kennedy Jr. But it's P.O. Box 21552, Bullhead City, Arizona.
Spelled hold on, Bullhead Head
yeah,
City.
It's actually 2 words.
Oh,
3 words.
Okay.
Bullhead City is 3 words.
Bullhead City. Can I just do AZ or should I spell it out?
No, you can go AZ.
Okay. And what's
the 86439?
86439. But put your name, John F. Kennedy Jr.
Yeah, that works. They get it there.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna pull it up for you. See if I got it right. Okay.
And if people write me a letter declaring the United States government a criminal organization for not sharing my story and all the other criminal things they do, I'm going to fill up a bag, hopefully a trailer of these letters, and go dump them on the White House lawn someday. So, yeah, write it. I got a trailer. If you run across me, sign my trailer in a Sharpie. I want 1 million signatures on that trailer to take to Washington also.
Look at this and see if I have that right. Bullhead City, AZ.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
And 86. I'm gonna do it again because the words went together. 86439. Let me see if it 86439. Let me do it one more time. Oh no. Hit the like button.
Let's free America, people. Write me a letter and use me example, and I'll take your letter declaring our government criminals, so we can take our country back from these criminals.
Thank you, John. I'm going to share your Cash App one more time here. Poor Boy John Jr. All right, final words from you, John, before we say goodnight to our soul family.
Well, with that said, Kia's time is priceless. Show your love to Kia for sharing my story. She spends a lot of time. I don't see her Cash App, but find her Cash App and send her some love for all this. Please.
You're so kind. Thank you, John. Please, family, hit the like button, share the video. Even if people don't believe the story, it's good to give them another side, another narrative, so that they can open up their mind, right? You want to hear all sides.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
A lot of people don't get it. A lot of people won't do the little research, but once, I get so many supporters that do a little research and say, hey, there's no denying that's you. I know who I am. I'm having to prove who I am. I know who I am, but I shouldn't have to prove who I am. Our government should, they can't prove me wrong. Let them, whatever we can do to break the ice and get it out there.
So we're going to send a donation to $Poor Boy John Jr. for those of us who want to support him. And we're also going to purchase his book because that's a great big help. It helps get the word out there. Trust me, I'm an author and you get like pennies when you sell a book. I know. So it is not giving him a lot of money, but it's doing a service because we're getting the word out. And that's what we want to do. We want people to know what goes on at the high levels. And he hasn't even covered, how things like Jim Jones, that whole fiasco where the gentleman, the cult guy killed out the whole, they all drank the Kool-Aid, they passed away, and then he was forced to drink the Kool-Aid. That story's in here. Stories like about, what was it? Lacey Peterson's husband, Scott Peterson. Y'all got to read that. Like these stories that come up out of nowhere on mainstream media, and that, these mysteries, these mysterious murders and these cult stuff that goes on, all part of the cabal, all part of, and it's in here.
I have many stories, and many of them aren't in that book. The book's just a wake up. Hopefully, I'll make some more videos, share some more stories on YouTube. But I wrote the book. It's a huge achievement. With Jackie Goldman helped me write that. It's because they don't want the story out, so it's a great achievement just to have that book out. Get the book, check it out, because they don't want you to know what's in that book.
They don't.
Yeah, my book, my book's still being written. Still being written, my son losing his life Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's not in the book. It is now. It's in the next book. And how he needs to be recognized for what he went through. Being my son, the torture, the abuse, the drugs. He needs to be recognized as the son of John F. Kennedy Jr.
That's right.
And my book's still being written. If I drop the flag, people, and I can't carry on, please carry my story on for me.
So with that being said, family, we want to get his story out there. If you want to send him a love offering or a letter, send it to the real John F. Kennedy Jr. His name is also David Keith Quigley, but you can send it to John F. Kennedy Jr., Post Office Box 21552, Bullhead City, Arizona, 86439. And let me see if I can put your Cash App up one more time. Henry, can you put the Cash App for me one more time so I can share it before we go out of here? Because so many people want to donate to John. I know it's Poor Boy Johnny. I don't see it up here. Henry, can you write that for us one more time?
Poor Boy John Jr.
Poor Boy John Jr. Okay, he's going. I'm sure. Here we go. Thank you, Henry. You're awesome.
Somebody messaged me the other day. You need to change your Cash App. It makes you look like a poor man. I was like, I have been my whole life. It's perfect for what the government did to me. So I wouldn't change it in a million years.
Well, John, I just want to say that I love you. I'm a big fan of your family. My family was a big fan of your family. I appreciate you sharing your story. I offer you my sincere condolences for the loss of your son. Both Ron and I and Gold Star Mother Susan Price were devastated to hear that, as well as the Soul family. So I just want to send you my love and my loyalty. I'm a loyal person. And
so very much.
Yes.
Robin shared what happened, and I got so much love and support. So many times I wanted to give up and just quit and just go fishing and not worry about trying to share my story. And people like Henry that would post every day, and knowing him and his family, I can't give up on people like that. There's no giving up for me now. Never. I can't.
Please don't give up, because you give some of us, like the inspiration that we need to speak our voice and tell our stories. When I told Rena your story, she was like, okay, Kia, I'm ready to come forward, because she's tried to tell her story. People discredited her. They made fun of her. They tormented her. And I've been saying, please. And she's like, okay, I'm ready. And she wants to meet you, John. Whitney Houston. So Patricia Brown, thank you so much for the donation. God bless you. I'm always honored and grateful for anything that you give. She says, John, you really need to build your own website, Mr. Kennedy.
Yeah, I need to do a lot of things. I'm just an old biker. I barely had time to do my TikTok. Now I got a little extra time. I should make myself a website, but I would need help. Somebody helping me run it. I need to do a lot of things like that. I really, really do, to help share my story.
Yes. Is Rockin' Robin your Robin?
Yeah, that's my Robin.
Hey, Robin. I was just about to ask about you. Thank you for coming on the screen and letting me see you and meet you in person. That was so wonderful. Thank you for all you're doing for your companion. We love you so much. I always want to connect with the divine feminine that's in a person's life, you know, just to let you know that we're in this together. We're sisters, and let you know my heart, because women can see other women. So if I wasn't any good, John, she would let you know. Trust me. She'd be like,
they all told me you're awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. So, John, thank you so much for your time. I love you and Rockin' Robin so much. You guys both rock. You're amazing.
Love you too.
You're courageous. Family, if you want to give a donation to John F. Kennedy Jr., he would greatly appreciate it. His cash app again is $ Poor Boy John Jr. That's POORBOYJOHNJR, Poor Boy John Jr. And he would be so, so grateful. So with that being said, family, oh, I see we have another offering, another blessing. Let me see if I can, hold on, John. I just want to acknowledge people that are giving the offering. Thank you, Michael. You're amazing. Thank you so much for the blessing, for the super sticker. You don't have to be so kind, and I appreciate you all. I appreciate you. Thank you all for the blessing, the donations, the time that you took away from your family, your activities. This is a Friday night. You could have been doing anything, but you decided to be here with us. So that's it, family. My name is Dr. Kia Pruitt, and this is...
Thank you so much. This is John Kennedy Jr., the real one. Thank you for sharing.
You're
God
welcome.
bless you. Thank you.
God bless you. I hope we said something, anything to raise your vibrations and inspire you to create the most amazing, magnificent life that you desire and deserve. Go out and get the book, Stolen Identity, from Amazon. It's less than $20. John would greatly appreciate it. Like the video. We have 1,500 people in the chat. Share the video, subscribe to the channel, and go to John Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr.'s YouTube channel and subscribe to that channel as well. So that's it, family. I want to say good night to all of you, and thank you so much. John, thank you. Thank you. I love you. And I'll talk to you soon. Yes, sir. It's our great pleasure. Good night, family. I hope you all have a very restful night. Sleep well. People are saying thank you. They appreciate me, you, and Robin. John, can you can deposit those checks, though, regardless of the name on it, somebody says. And they want me to get you on again. Okay, we'll do that. So let's let John go rest and get some sleep, spend time with his companion. We love you all, everybody. Thank you so much for all your comments, all your energy, all your time. Whether you agreed or disagreed, we appreciate you because we love having all different opinions. So good night, family. We're one big soul.
I see a lot of lions that have popped up. Thank you, lions, with all my heart and soul. Thank you for fighting for me each and every day. I appreciate you all.
Now, who are the lions?
There was so many that keep popping up. I called them my lions on TikTok because they were sharing my story. They were getting blocked and taken down, and they still kept sharing.
Okay. Thank you, lions, for being here. Lions and lionesses. All right, John, go and have a good night. And we're praying for you and Robin that you all can make it through. I know it's a trying time with the loss of your son. So anything we can do to help, just let us know. I'm right here. Ron is here. Gold Star Mother Susan Price is here. And all of the Soul family. Okay? All right. They don't want to let you go. Look at this. I appreciate you all too. All right, John, have a good night. I'm going to go and get something to eat.
You too, Kia. Yeah, I'm going to get me some supper also.
All right, my darling. Good night. And good night to you too, Robin. Bye, family. Sleep well.